A very big show coming to the National Automobile Museum this Friday night. It is Adam Carolla, who is obviously well known over the years for not just Loveline, but everything he's done with The Man Show, the Adam Carolla Project, everything. Adam Carolla, you have so many different interests. I see you giving political commentary on Fox News. What aren't you doing these days?
Wow, what aren't I doing? Well, I'm not traveling and enjoying myself like my kids are, who are basically living the life that I underwrite for them, but
Boy,
can't afford for myself.
I have two. How many do you have?
I have twins. I have two twins, and my son, who's 18, was off to Japan for a second time. And I said to Dr. Drew the other day, I said, my son's going to Japan for 2 weeks. And I said, Drew, could you imagine going to Japan for 2 weeks? And he goes, no, I couldn't afford it. And I said, I can't afford it either, except for I'm paying for my son to go to Japan for 2 weeks.
Exactly. That's what we do. We sacrifice. Speaking of Dr. Drew, Loveline. I grew up in Los Angeles, where you're from, and you launched the show on the legendary K-Rock. And that show was great. I remember, because you're just a handful of years older than I am, it really helped hearing what you guys talked about. If you don't know Loveline, it was such a candid show where people called in with their love problems, issues they were having with boyfriends or girlfriends, that kind of thing. And your advice went a long way for me back in those days when I was in high school.
Well, people have a great affection for Loveline, which I'm always happy to hear. For me, I was just showing up every night, sitting in a very small room and talking into a microphone that I sort of treated like it wasn't even plugged into anything, because I couldn't imagine a lot of people listening to the show, or people I know listening to the show, or any of that. I wanted to treat it as if I was just alone with Dr. Drew in a medium-sized closet, and we're just talking openly about subjects we're interested in. So that's the way I always approached it. And it's very, heartening and a little strange to years later, I'd run into people, oh God, I listened, I loved it. It was so important, or it got me through this, or it helped me with that.
Yeah,
I'm, supremely flattered. But to me, it was a show that I used to listen to when I was younger and always dreamt of being a part of it.
Well, you did such a great job with it, and you and Dr. Drew Pinsky played off each other so perfectly. You're going to be playing off of Patrick Warburton this Friday at the National Automobile Museum. What can we expect from your stand-up, and what will the show be like?
Well, first off, I get there early and look at my car display, because I think I have 12 or 13 Paul Newman race cars there, taking up one large room in an exhibit. So go kick some tires, but don't actually touch the cars.
Right.
That's a metaphor.
When did you start collecting cars, by the way? Not to interrupt. Is this your thing,
man,
like Jay Leno?
I started, I was poor my whole life, and I always wanted a nice car and a cool car and a race car. But instead, I had to drive pickup trucks because I was a carpenter. And really, the second I got from carpentry to show business, I just said, I want some cool cars. And once you get going down that road, pardon the pun, you just keep going. So next thing you know, I have 13 Paul Newman race cars. But they're there. I do stand-up. I don't think people really know me as a stand-up. They think of me as a radio guy or a TV guy or an improv guy or something like that. And I do not want to toot my own horn, but you will be pleasantly surprised. People say to me after the show all the time, like, I didn't even know you did stand up, but man, that was a killer set. So I do stand up. I'm a good stand up, and it's what I've been working on for the last decade plus. So for me, stand up. Patrick is newer to the stand up game, but he's such a good orator and storyteller that he's up on his feet doing his thing. But he's probably more stories, set of Seinfeld and Family Guy and all that kind of stuff. And I'm pretty much just straight stand-up.
Yeah, he was Elaine's boyfriend, the New Jersey Devils fan in Seinfeld. Just legendary role for him. Can't wait to see the show and see you doing stand-up and meet you in person. And we'll put up the information for the viewer. The VIP meet and greet starts at 6 Friday night, and then the show starts at 7 p.m. How long do you think your set will last, Adam?
I usually do an hour, sometimes a little more if I'm feeling it, but I pretty much don't do less than an hour if I'm headlining the show.
Do you work the crowd?
No. I used to do a lot of improv, but a few years ago, I thought to myself, I just want to be a stand-up. I want to do a stand-up routine, and I don't want to work the crowd, and I don't want to do a lot of improv or where you're from. It comes easily to me. I've always known I can do it. I thought it'd be a greater challenge to really just work on an act.
Right. Last question. The Man Show. Love that too. From 99 to 2004 with Jimmy Kimmel. Could that show air today in the light of where things are in our society?
Well, I've been asked that question a few times, and I've thought about it, and I have an answer that I feel satisfied with.
Okay.
People go, could you guys do that show today? I say, I could do it.
You could. All right. Adam Carolla, thanks for your candor. Can't wait to see you here in Reno on Friday. And you'll be here during Hot August Nights, which is just perfect. So thanks for your time.
Oh, yeah.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, say hi for sure.
All right. We'll see you soon.